All right, welcome back everybody to Starting with a Story, the podcast. Today is a dope day because out of all these technical difficulties, we finally got this interview rolling. We got voice, we got audio, we got video. It is a game time. So today we have Annalisa Brown in the house. Hey Annalisa, how you doing?
I'm doing great. So excited to be here.
Oh, for sure. So glad to have you on. I'm going to let you introduce yourself because I don't think anyone else could do it better. But Annalisa, tell us who you are, what you do, where you've come from. What is your story?
So I am actually born and raised in California, but I most recently moved to San Francisco. I was in Sacramento for a long time. I am fitness instructor, movement lover. Like I dive into everything that helps you live a fuller, better life. So from movement to nutrition to teaching to like all of the things, like just
Yeah.
I want.
I respect that. So what spurred the move? It seems like that happened pretty recently. Was there something driving that?
You know, I actually just decided that it was time for a change. I felt really comfortable where I was, and I don't like when I'm comfortable because I feel like I don't challenge myself and I don't find new limits to push and everything. So I felt that San Francisco was a great place for me to hustle again and start pushing myself to new heights.
Awesome. Well, I'm hyped that you found a new home, I guess you could say. But I guess we're already diving into this whole topic of fear for this season. But moving is a huge topic that people are just deathly afraid of, right? That's how I feel. And so I moved from New Jersey to Pennsylvania to Kansas City, Missouri to Florida. And now to Florida has been kind of weird because I'm out of my element here. So how'd you deal with the move, and what is your method of coping with the fear of moving, if there is any fear with you?
I literally just decided to do it and I did it.
Whoa, that's awesome.
I just literally went for it. I had like a little seed planted and then I just thought about it and I was like, you know what? Yes, like why not? There's nothing stopping me right now. And I had a lot of little words in my ear telling me, oh, it's expensive. Oh, you're not gonna, you won't make it. And basically people were pushing their fears on me. And I just realized that no, like this is what I want to do and it's my life. So I'm going to find a way to make it happen and just kind of dive right through the fear and the fire and make it.
Right. So what kind of advice would you give to people that are in a similar situation, that are hearing all this noise from everyone around them, kind of projecting these people's fears onto them? I think that's a really cool perspective in the way you put that.
One of the things that I really, really had to sit back and think about during that time was allowing myself to find my why and reason for doing it, because they don't even, I mean, they know a little bit, but they're not like, they're not me. So they're
You
not.
don't know me. You don't know who I is.
Exactly. So you really have to just stick with your why, and when you know your why, everything starts to become really clear. And I mean, it was amazing when I made the decision. It was like the universe just went, here you go, and like opportunities started getting thrown at me, and I was okay, I guess this is happening. But it really came down to me deciding that this is my why and it's gonna happen, and nobody or nothing is gonna.
Awesome. So the big burning question inside me right now is, what is your why? You got to tell us.
Oh man, my why is pretty long and distinguished, but
Okay. Yeah.
my why is just knowing that no matter what your journey has, like in it, you're able to accomplish so much, and you just have to believe in yourself, and you have to find those limits to push. So I actually, my basic story of like how I got to where I was I actually had a situation where it kind of drove me through a bunch of fear. I basically found my why through this because I was put in a situation where I had surgery, and the surgery went wrong 5 times.
Oh my gosh.
when I came out of it, I actually discovered that I had acquired dyslexia and cognitive function things going on. So I kind of had two choices at that point. I was a girl who, straight A student, like never got bad grades, it didn't exist. I worked on the Geek Squad at the time, and I was a computer nerd, and but yeah, like I had all these things, and at that point, I just realized, what is my why? Why am I doing things? And the reason why that happened, I believe, is so that I can inspire the people around me and actually give them, inspiration to know that you can do whatever the freak you want. You just have to believe in yourself and know your deep down why into achieving those things.
First off, I thank you for your transparency. Like, that is terribly crazy that 5 times your surgery went wrong like that. I've never heard of that. I've heard of like 1 or 2, but like 5, that seems like a lot of people should get new jobs, I don't know. But something that really speaks out to me is your reasoning and your why of like that anyone can do it, that you can do it regardless of your situation. But my question is, was it always like that after you came out of these surgeries, or was there a point in time where you didn't feel that way and you were kind of like on the low before you were on your come up?
So when it first happened, I got knocked down pretty hard. I obviously lost my job, and I lost where I was living at the time, and had to move in with my boyfriend at the time. And it was really uncomfortable because it was a time in my life where I before this happened was able to do everything like by myself. I was like completely independent. Nobody had control. And I had to completely pull back and give control to people around me and allow them to connect with me. So it was pretty tough to get to the point where I could drive through whatever fear I had and kind of start to accomplish those next steps. So it wasn't easy. I think you really have to start to connect with yourself at that point. It was a tremendous like part of my journey. I don't think I would be here without that. So I'm really thankful for it, even though
Amen.
But it definitely led me to a higher point in my life where I actually was doing what I was supposed to be doing all along. And it's taken me years to kind of discover deep down like where that's at. But yeah, like getting out of it, you just you have to know that when you go through the fear, and you don't just sit there and I could have easily sat there and cried myself a river, and I had points where I did. I swam through it, and I found a way to even if it was one small step, I found a way to do that thing and start to build on those fears until my fears are way up here now, and I can jump through the fire like
it's amazing that it sounds like you've come like a complete 180 since that time, right? So 1, that's awesome. Congrats to you. And 2, what were some of those first steps of starting to, see the brighter side of things, or starting to overcome all of these fears? What was that beginning process like?
So what's actually crazy about the whole process is, so I was, right before the surgery, I became a Zumba instructor, and I went to a training.
Dude, Zumba's awesome.
Yeah.
So much fun.
So I had no idea that was going to be an exponential part of my journey either. So I took that training, and then obviously didn't start teaching right away. But when all this happened, I remember having the DVDs, and it was something that I was familiar with. And I was like, see, I sat at home every day while everyone was at work, and I, Netflix and chilled with myself. And I had to I was like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. Going from working out 3 times a day, working all day, not sleeping, to sitting around all the time. So I just decided to move a little bit each day. And so I would put the DVD on, I would sit on the couch, and then I would get up and start to do little things. And then I would sit down when I'm tired. Then I would get up and do it again. And it got to the point where I did the whole thing. I started taking strolls. It wasn't a walk. It was a stroll around the block, And I just started piece by piece putting everything together. But what's crazy about all that is that's like the beginning of like how everything happened. And then I became, obviously started teaching Zumba after that. And now I'm a jammer.
Okay.
What that
Please
is,
explain. Please explain.
jammers. So basically, what we do is we have an opportunity to go educate other instructors and give them choreography, hang out with them for 3 hours. It's like a party for 3 hours. It's fantastic. But I help them with their cueing and their progressions and things to help them become a better instructor ultimately, and just give them the confidence that they need. And that is where my heart lies. That is literally, that was my first step in getting back, and that's literally my driving force on every day now, because I know there's somebody out there that needs me. So getting up off that couch means that I can help someone. So that's that.
I love that. I love that so much. What about Zumba do you love so much, aside from the fact that it was like a crucial part of your, I guess, your come up or your back on your feet sort of thing? But what about Zumba is so crucial to you?
I think Zumba is just, it's very, the word is not coming to my mind, but
Totally
it's
fine.
very inclusive. It's everyone is welcome there. We just dance, like, and that's the thing. Like, I made this joke earlier, but but yeah, like it's just Zumba, and that's the coolest thing about it. Is in fitness, sometimes we get so serious and we're like, oh, we have to do this certain thing, and I'm like, it's just fitness, and that's the reality. Like, we just need to move, and we need to move well often, and when that happens in a place where it's inclusive and everyone's a family, it's even better because you get to just hang out.
I've always heard about people who are intimidated by Zumba is the fact that it is dancing. Not everyone's good at dancing. Not everyone has rhythm. Not everyone can shimmy or whatever you want to call it. But Zumba has, provided this environment that's so safe, that is so inclusive, and it's just judgment free. I mean, that's what I assume is the hope, so you can just act a fool and do whatever. But how would you portray Zumba to someone who's just deathly afraid of dancing and deathly afraid of even stepping into that room to dance with complete strangers?
This is literally like every Zumba instructor is like, we're gonna get them in the room. Like, if I see them like peeping their eyes through the door, I'm like, come here, or I'll go to them or whatever at the door. But yeah, like, there's no wrong moves in Zumba. Like, it's just a place, like, you're at the freaking club. Like, you're just midday break, from work, like, is really stressful. It's like, go throw your hands up in there and like wave them like you just don't care, because that is life. That is how we should live our lives. Period, end of sentence. Like, just completely free and, free of judgment, ultimately.
Right. What do you feel that you've learned most about yourself since becoming like a Zumba instructor, and since sharing your Zumba life, your jammer life? I don't know what the terms are, but
well, becoming an instructor is scary, but there was a lot of fear there, absolutely, as well, because you're the center of attention, so don't mess up, don't those things. But the beauty of it is, it allowed me to find myself, because I was very like behind a computer, like nerd. I wasn't good socially. Like, I'll be completely honest, I was socially awkward, like still kind of am sometimes, but
same.
no, you just embrace it and you just learn, like, just be free with it. Like, I mess up and I'm like, hey, like, human, like, it's great, but yeah, you get to tap into a different side of yourself when you're an instructor, because like, you literally can use whatever song that you want. Like, I mean, for the most part, but you can just tap into like your I'm known as like the Latin instructor that makes jokes. Like, I don't take anything seriously. I'm like, let's just have a good time and laugh it off, because a lot of times it's silly and like we're like shimmying or whatever, but just have fun.
Yeah, amen. So, questions keep popping up, but you said initially you're like kind of nerdy, you're behind a computer screen a lot and socially awkward and this, that, or the other. How does someone who describes themselves like that come to doing very social, very open activities, whether it be yoga or coaching or teaching or Zumbaing or what have you? How did that shift happen, and how are you like okay with that? You know, I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I would never. That's not me. That's not who I am. So how did that come about?
I think I just wanted to share more with the world. I just like I felt like I had so much in me to share that I was like, okay, I need to start talking to people. And I just started like I it was like the flip of a switch. I was like, okay, myself, like let's do this. So I think it was just a mindset thing that just shifted and allowed me to be okay with who I was and share with people and connecting. And it's just such a cool thing to connect with people, man. Like that is what everyone needs in life. Like you need to have people you talk to on a regular basis and to chill with. Like let's talk about life.
Nothing beats a friend, you know, honestly. So aside from Zumbaing, what else fills your days, your weeks, your months, projects, or other things, or what have you? What else is in the life of Annalisa?
So I jam once at least once a month. So I either travel or locally I hold the jam sessions. They're 3 hour sessions. So I do that, and then I teach as much as possible. I teach anything from cycle to aqua to yoga, or I don't teach yoga. That's the only thing I don't teach, actually.
What is aqua? I don't know what aqua is.
Like so in most cases, the instructor is on land and then everyone else is in the water. But it's like, I mean, aqua is anything from like a boot camp in water to you can do Zumba in water. Like, you know, aqua
That
Zumba.
sounds fun. Yeah.
It's like seen in the water, which is even better because you're in the water and nobody knows what's going on. So
No one can see or make fun of my legs that are all jello-y.
I'm like, do what you want, shimmy. Nobody even knows. Like, it's good. But yeah, so I do that. I'm working on a business currently, hopefully going to be launching that within the next month or 2 months.
Okay.
And
Can we hear a sneak peek about what it is? Question mark. You don't have to say yes, but
yeah, so I'm really excited because for the past probably at least 3 years, I've had this vision of being able to help people wherever I am. And I have a lot of people, friends, like outside of the country or outside of the state that I want to be able to share my knowledge with and help them like better their fitness or their life or their style in general. So it's going to allow me to provide that for them. And I'm excited that I'm taking that step because San Francisco, I'm like, new things, like let's just make all the things happen.
yeah, amen. Well, I wish you well on that. That's super exciting. Yeah, that was like a good cliffhanger. It'll leave all the listeners wondering, what is this? What is she making? I want to know. So this is good. This is good. You planted the seed in everyone else's mind just now. So that's good. So I guess aside from your business, what are some things that you're looking forward to and some of the fears that you potentially see or obstacles that you potentially see in your either near future or far future, whichever future you want to talk about?
Ooh, I guess just getting comfortable in San Francisco and starting to take leaps into like new opportunities and new studios. My goal is to really connect with as many people out here as I can because this is like one of the meccas of fitness and part of the reason why I moved here too. And so it's just so cool. Everywhere you go, there's fitness. You know, it's like, hey, fitness too, cool. Like let's hang out. But yeah. So I really like for me, like that's important for me to dive deep into my fear and go into places that are super uncomfortable, like CrossFit gyms and yoga studios, Pilates studios, because their instructors are amazing here. So it's going to make me push my limits a whole lot to get to that. And I guess, like, I really want to, my goal is to get my business up and running so I can travel more and explore the world. So that is a fear for sure, because what if it doesn't happen? But also, like, you never know if you don't cross that barrier. So yeah.
Awesome.
All I can think about the top of my head.
Sure, for sure. You got a lot of fun things to look forward to. That's exciting. And I guess throughout all this, like, when you're teaching or when you're doing your thing, you're at your best, you're at your prime. What are some of the things that keep you going when you aren't at your prime? Is it like you have to go to Zumba and that's what keeps you up? Or is there something else that keeps you up, that motivates you to keep striving and keep, I guess, grinding and hustling, as you put it before?
I think one of the things recently that I've really tapped into is allowing myself to fill my own cup. I sometimes,
Oh, I like that.
as far as instructors go, I mean, we were like, here you go, like, here's my whole life,
Yeah, it's just like all giving and giving.
Yeah, and we sometimes will allow the classes to just suck the life out of us. I mean, it's natural. So it's so important, I think, to have time to fill your cup, whatever it may be. Journaling to, just doing your own yoga practice or just meditating. Like, there's so many things now available to everybody. And it's just important to take time for you, to take a step back and go, why am I doing this? So yeah, I would say that's one of the most important things.
Have you been able to achieve that throughout this new move, throughout all these new experiences? Have you yourself been able to follow your own advice and keep up with filling your own cup like that?
That's a great question. Gonna be honest, at the beginning, it was like, I really was like, I have to get all this stuff done. My apartment has to be done now. And then I like a couple days ago, I took a step back and realized, well, I'm going to be here forever, so I don't need to get it done today. I just had it in my mind that I had to. I'm a Leo, so it was like, I have to get everything done now. And
can you give the characteristics of a Leo? I'm not familiar with those characteristics.
We are stubborn.
Both, and honest.
We're stubborn, we're driven, we're just very like fire. Like a lion, you think of a lion, that's literally, I know it's that's what everyone says, but it literally is what we are. Like, we are just going to do it, period, end of sentence. Like, there's really no negotiation. Like,
I like that. So
yeah.
What's in your sight right now? Like, what's your lion looking at right now?
I have a few things that I'm working on for Zumba, and then I have my business. Those are the two things that are top right now.
Awesome. So another question that kind of popped into my head, I have several friends that are also Zumba instructors or becoming yoga instructors or instructors of a fitness of like more wholesome meditation type vibe or just like having fun or free or what have you. What kind of advice would you give to them to make their courses or classes or instructions more enjoyable for both them and also the participants? And what are your like key components of a great session, I guess?
For yoga or Zumba?
For anything. Well, let's do Zumba and then do yoga. How about that?
Well, they both, you definitely need to be yourself. I can't stress that enough. A lot of people, I think, try to be someone else when they first start teaching or diving into anything like that. And it just deters from like what they're supposed to do for the world. So it's just really important to know like who you are. And like, if you're silly and crazy, do it. There's people that are going to love that. If you're like the super serious fitness person, there's probably people that will love it too. But it's who you are, because people can see if it's you or not. And if you're trying to be someone else, there's a point where you'll just not know how to be that other person anymore, and you'll have no options. So when you learn to tap into like who you are, it really helps. And with Zumba, just have fun. I mean, it's really easy to become serious in that too, and you just gotta have fun.
Yeah, amen. So we're coming a little close to the end of our interview, but I do want to ask, what is the number one thing that you want people to get out of having a session with you or meeting you or going through one of your experiences? What is that one thing that you want every person to get from you?
I want them to feel like they can take over the world. Like, literally.
In an evil way?
maybe a superhero way, but
Yeah.
like Wonder Woman.
Mm.
But I do. I want everyone to feel that sense of empowerment and just like with the tools that they need to go out there and just live the best lifestyle that they can have
Mm.
with just no limits and belief and fear out the door, you know.
Yeah.
Like ultimately that's, I mean, I want them to like move better, and that's like should happen. You know,
Mm.
like there's other things that are ultimately more important in the long run.
I'm sure you're doing such a phenomenal job at that. I'm so pumped, and I wish I could take a class from you.
I thought in my head like two things that I didn't talk about that are like
Mhm.
huge in my life, and I'm like,
Okay.
God, I didn't even talk about them. I'm like an awful person. Like,
I mean, you can mention now.
so I basically was I was selected from 24 Hour to be like their face for them, and
What is
so
24 hour?
24 Hour Fitness.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I was selected, and I'm like on billboards and everything all over the place. It's kind of,
Whoa, that's
yeah.
awesome.
I mean, honestly, I'm probably too humble about it because I'm like, "Oh, whatever, like not a big deal." But I'm on like all the buses and everything in this area. So, well, in that,
Dang.
yeah. So it's cool. But I was like, why didn't I talk about that? I'm like,
What are some of the positives and negatives that come from that?
so the crazy thing is, I like actually never knew I was like I got the email and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go to this thing, no big deal. And I literally had no idea that, you know, I was gonna be placed in these positions where literally my fear was like it was tested. Like I had to like be on a bike and like that's the main shot. But I was like on a bike, you know, it was the end of the day, I was hungry, all of these things, and you know, I look like the picture looks good, but people have no idea what the behind the scenes of that happened. Yeah, I pushed my fear
Mm.
limit like all the way up, and then I had two more shots after that that were long days as well. So yeah, it was really cool because it showed me like what I was capable of, I guess,
Oh
and I had
yeah, for sure.
no idea because I wasn't walking in there like that. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a backup dancer, awesome. Like,
Oh my gosh, why am I in the front? What is happening?
you right here. I'm like, wait, what? Okay, I guess I'm doing it right. Cool, you know. So yeah, that was that. And then I got signed with a modeling agency, and partially why I moved down here. So you know,
Those are huge. You forgot about those? That's crazy.
like
All
I
right.
forgot. But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, next time you're on the podcast, we'll definitely dive more into that when you're at the
Yeah.
tip top of Zumba and 24 fitness and
Yeah.
modeling and everything on your plate. So it'll be great. I can't wait.
Okay, sounds good.
So before we get into our last three questions, I just wanted to say thank you so much for your time, your transparency, honesty, and sharing your tips and advice on just being more positive and just moving more. I think your movement of movement is really cool, and I think you're really helping a lot of people out. So I hope that one, your business's ideas go great, and then two, that your instructions and all that keep flourishing and you get to touch more people. So thank you for being here, and thank you for what you're giving to the world.
Thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you think that. Some people don't. No, I'm kidding. So are you ready for these final three questions?
Yes.
All right. First question is, what's been the favorite chapter of your life so far?
My favorite chapter is when I discovered that fear wasn't scary. Fear was actually the driving force to get me, you know, to help me find the trajectory of where I am now. Like that ultimately is where it got me. Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. Second question. If you had to put a name to the next chapter in your life, what would you name that chapter?
Ooh, probably alive.
Live. Like that. All right. Final question for today is, if you had to put a title to the book of your entire life up until this moment, what would you title that book for Annalisa Brown?
Ooh, a title. Hmm. I'm trying to think.
No, take your time.
Find your trajectory, I guess.
I like that. Trajectory. That's a good word. I have trouble pronouncing it sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Annalisa, again, thank you so much. You survived the interview. You survived the final 3 questions. So this is your chance. Where can our listeners find you, find out more about who you are, what you do, maybe even a sneak peek to your business? Or if that's not up, then never mind. But where can our audience find who you are?
So Facebook, it's just Annalisa Brown, and on Instagram, it's DJ Annalisa Fitzbo. And yeah, that's all I have. I'm not a big Twitter or anything other than just these 2. I
Awesome.
feel strongly, but Instagram is my main. So if you hit me up there, it's most likely going to get the quickest response.
Nice. All right, cool. Well, thank you again so much for your time. This has been an absolute blast, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night.
Thank you so much.
Stay safe, stay you. Bye.
Bye.